Now I've got this piece of wood. Don't know what that is. Maybe my picture of this can tell me from the bark. It says Black Poplar. Don't know where I got it. I got it out of a box of wood back there. Box of wood given to me by my friend Valerie. But with all the moving around the stuff I do, no guarantee that that's where this originated. But this will be the bottom. This will be the top. It'll be a live edge if the bark stays on, natural edge if it doesn't. Leave this on here if I can. But I gotta figure out how to mount this. Probably a worm screw. I put it on this chuck with these jaws. That's pretty small for something this size. But I'll use tailstock support until I get the tenon to get it turned around. So first I'll drill a flat spot. It's got to be a couple inches across. This particular Forstner bit is 2 1/8. That'll work. Well, it's got a lot of wood and a lot of hard bark. I think that should probably do it. Oh, here's something I forgot to check. That won't go. I cut off this much of this. Now it will swing. Since my lathe is not bolted down, I don't know if this is going to work. I'm going to have to take more of that off. Okay, I've cut more off. That would have made a nice something if it were in one piece. Still might. Okay, I've got to take some of this bark off because this is larger than the hole. I have to use spacers because the screw is so long. This is all going to come out anyway, so not losing anything. I believe this is stripped for threads, but with tailstock support, I'll probably get this rounded up and put a foot on here. We don't know yet if I can spin this. Kind of a sweet spot at 518 RPM. It's 550, still good. So we'll start at 550. 3/4 inch Carter and Son bowl gouge. Sure looks small, doesn't it? 85. Let's check this big new chuck again. Okay, that's closed all the way down. Almost all the way down. 125 millimeters. And that would put the foot there. So that's the foot. Okay, I can live with that. Oh, it's chipping out pretty badly over there. Got to keep this flat. Okay, do I want to leave these like that, or do I want to round them up a little bit? If I round them up, I might be able to get rid of that. I don't know. I think I want to turn this around pretty quick. I fine-tune the foot, which is also the tenon, with a spindle gouge. And a spindle detail gouge. Hard to tell what I'm doing when it's bouncing around so much. Like it's clean enough. Now, do I want to try to sand this? I think I do. I start with 120 and work up through 320. Okay, first time on the lathe. This one. Uh-oh. Guess again, how the hell did I do that? Oh, mercy me. I said this needed to be 125. This is 120. Well, that explains that. I guess I shrunk that up some when I wasn't looking. Well, damn it, that creates a problem. Boy, that's heavy. I think this may open far enough, but boy, oh boy, is it going to leave marks. When I think about big mark chucks, the range between fully open and fully closed is pretty big. And that will not go. So, put this back on there and put a recess within the foot. I think that's all I can do. When I woke up this morning, I realized what I want to do with this. I want to turn it around, but rather than make a recess in this, I don't have that much wood to work with. Instead of putting a recess in, I'm going to turn a glue block with a recess exactly this size so that it will fit snugly over this, and put a dovetail on that to go in this. That is the plan. This will be the recess. Don't have to cut anything for the outside. It's in there. It's not going anywhere. This is a piece of hard maple flooring. Now, this doesn't have to be very deep, because this is only not even 5 millimeters. So I will work up to this line. I want a snug fit. First use of my new big chuck. $11.60. Careful there. Be back just a little. I'm using a skew chisel as a scraper to get a dovetail in the recess. It's warm. It's not going to be quite big enough yet. During the evolving plans for this the day before, I glued in that spacer. That's about a perfect fit. Oh yeah. There is space under the block here. I've only done maybe 2 or 3 glue blocks before. Concept scares me a little bit, but it's worked for other people. It'll probably work for me. Okay, as cool as it is down here, it won't take that long to set up. While I was waiting for this to set up, Get those two pieces I sliced off of here and glued them back together. Maybe we can make something out of those. $5.50 looks like. Now if I use this one, I have to stay clear back here so this doesn't hit the post. But if I go back to my Laguna, which leans forward a little bit, gives me another ½ inch at least. Okay. I like working as close to over the post as I can. Okay, now we're back to deciding where I wanted to go with this. And it's about, well, this is going to be shallow. About here. With the diameter of the bowl defined, I switch to a ½ inch scraper. That far over. I was working too far over the tool rest. I have to round out the bowl deep enough to get rid of the worm screw hole. I switched from 5/8 to 3/4 inch bowl gouge because the shaft is more rigid. I can't put the banjo any closer to the wood, but I can rotate the tool rest itself and get a little closer to where I'm cutting. The bowl is deep enough, now I just have to smooth out the curve. Almost finished, but there's a little dimple in the bottom. Before I finish up, I'll sharpen gouges. A little bit of a lip right there. So what needs to come off is right here. And right here. Shield back on, don't trust this one. And I got a tool rest over here. I think I'm going to quit there. I think I'm going to quit there, he said, once he took the shield off. This sands very easily, still a little dimple, still a little rough. But because it sands so easily, I will sand it. Thing to do now is try to get this off the glue block, denatured alcohol. And I've got an opening here I can get alcohol working on the inside also. This might dribble all over everything, but we'll see in a moment. That works. Got it almost everywhere. When I watch turners do this on other YouTube channels, it seems pretty quick. Pour it on, peel it off. Doesn't seem to work that way. starting to let go. Well, I guess I can quit worrying about glue blocks coming off accidentally. I will start with 180. I first put on some old oil-based spar urethane. It's very, very thick. Even though I thinned it some with mineral spirits, I didn't like the way it's set up. It works fine in the bark. But for the rest of this, I sanded it back. I've got, I think, at least 2 and maybe 3 coats of white bond poly on here. I'm much happier with it. This is 4/0 steel wool. Does a nice job of buffing up the poly. But the thing about steel wool is it leaves fragments behind. So what I do anytime I use steel wool on something like this, particularly that's got bark that's going to snag it some, is take a piece of paper towel, a small magnet, the towel's to keep from scratching the wood, and to make everything that you pick up with a magnet visible. I've already done this once, so there's only traces of metal there. A little more here. See that? That is steel wool. So you do not want in your food. Not that this is a food dish, but the principle is the same. Look at all that. That's steel filings from the steel wool that were invisible to my eye, but I figured they had to be there. Take the magnet out of that. Dust those off. Come back, make sure we've got them all. Good. Look how many more we've got. So, if you are turning bowls that there's a remote chance somebody might be eating out of, you really do need to go over and work with a magnet, a little piece of paper to keep from scratching your wood, and also it really shows the filings. There shouldn't be any out here, but easy enough to check. One more time. I'm going to vacuum that and call it done, I think. White bond poly, that's what I finished this with. And I applied that with white Scotch-Brite, by the way. Seems to be a good applicator for almost anything. One last vacuuming. And this one is finished. Thanks for watching.